Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford's impending rematch has the boxing community on edge. Both fighters are diligently training, evident in the recent reveal of Spence's training footage, eliciting reactions and analyses from fans and experts alike. Meanwhile, Crawford's preparations continue, and he recently responded to Spence's training snippets. The last bout saw Crawford adopting a southpaw stance strategically, a move that paid dividends given Spence's limited experience against such opponents. Top-ranked promoter Bob Arum highlighted Spence's struggle against southpaws as a key reason for his previous defeat. Arum emphasized an intriguing statistic. Out of Spence's 38 fights, he's encountered only 2 southpaws. This data possibly indicates a challenge or deliberate avoidance in facing southpaw opponents. Arum stressed Terence Crawford's adaptability as a crucial element in his victory over Spence. In contrast to Crawford's usual boxing style, starting as a right-hander and then shifting to southpaw, Crawford maintained a southpaw stance throughout the entire bout against Spence. This tactical approach exploited Spence's susceptibility to southpaw fighters. Arum highlighted Crawford's versatile skill set, particularly his potent right-hand jab, which proved instrumental against Spence. Arum showed no surprise at Crawford's dominance, attributing it to Spence's struggle in facing a left-handed fighter. He suggested that had Crawford shifted to an orthodox stance, even for a few rounds, the fight's outcome might have taken a different turn. Crawford's commitment to sticking with the southpaw stance led Arum to swiftly conclude that the fight was effectively decided. Contemplating a potential rematch in a different weight class, specifically at 154 pounds, Arum expressed doubts about any alteration in the fight's outcome. He questioned Spence's ability to adapt to facing a southpaw like Crawford in a higher weight class. Arum's perspective remained firm. As long as Crawford retained his southpaw stance, the outcome would likely echo prior results, irrespective of the weight class. Intriguingly, before his clash with Crawford, Spence asserted his indifference towards his opponent's stance, confident in handling any style Crawford brought into the ring. Spence emphasized his extensive amateur background and varied experience, having confronted southpaws, orthodox fighters, and those adept at switching styles. However, his performance in the bout contradicted his assertions, casting doubts on his capability to handle a southpaw like Crawford. Another aspect of contention for Spence revolves around the weight class. Many experts have signaled that Spence's time in the 147-pound division might be at its end, advocating for a move up to 154 pounds or beyond. Jaron Ennis believes that if the rematch occurs at 147 pounds, there won't be a significant shift in the fight's outcome. To tip the scales in his favor during the rematch, Spence would need to meet Crawford at 154 pounds. Ennis remarked, "It was one-sided, but perhaps at 154 he'll have a better edge and feel more comfortable with the extra 7 pounds not having to cut as much weight. I'm not sure." Ennis also highlighted Crawford's unwavering southpaw stance in the initial fight. "The striking thing for me was Crawford never switched. He remained in the southpaw stance throughout. Crawford is truly a southpaw fighter. I don't think he's built on the right side. When he turned into a southpaw, it was apparent he was right-handed because he concluded his combinations with his right hand. So, you could tell he was right-handed," remarked Ennis. Sean Porter has been vocal about his desire for the Spence vs. Crawford rematch to occur at 154 pounds. A strong supporter of the rematch, Porter firmly believes in Spence's ability to triumph over Crawford. According to Porter, Spence has the capacity to make necessary adjustments, particularly with the potential advantage of competing at 154 pounds. Porter sees this as a pivotal moment in Spence's career that he's eager to rectify. Expressing a clear preference, Errol Spence Jr. has openly advocated for the rematch against Terence Crawford to take place at 154 pounds. Spence indicated that he wouldn't alter his approach from their previous encounter and remains receptive to the idea of a rematch. His specific emphasis on the 154-pound weight class indicates a deliberate strategy for the upcoming bout. This decision might be influenced by several factors, including comfort at that weight, perceived benefits of competing in a higher weight class, and guidance from boxing experts recommending a move up in weight for the rematch. Jacob Spence, Errol Spence Jr.'s cousin and an amateur boxer, shared insights regarding the potential rematch at 154 pounds. He believes that transitioning to a higher weight, especially after an extended period at a certain weight, can introduce a fresh perspective and strategy for a boxer. Jacob stressed the significant impact weight can have on a boxer's performance and mindset. Jacob anticipates that Errol Spence will enter the ring with increased size and strength, potentially altering the dynamics of the rematch with Crawford. Moreover, he commended Crawford's performance without making excuses for Spence. Jacob underscored the importance of avoiding excuses and being prepared for a rematch, a mindset he believes Errol Spence embodies. Jacob's viewpoint embodies a realistic and impartial perspective within the realm of the fight game. A surprising take on Spence's rematch with Crawford came from renowned boxing figure Tim Bradley. Bradley delivered a forthright evaluation of Errol Spence's approach to the highly anticipated showdown against Terence Crawford. He criticized Spence and his team for delaying the fight, suggesting a strategic intention to wait for Crawford's decline with the hope of catching him at a vulnerable stage later in his career. Bradley deemed this strategy a miscalculation, arguing that Spence should have pursued the fight earlier during his prime. Bradley was adamant in dismissing any excuses for Spence's performance or the fight's outcome. He stressed the significance of acknowledging the result without attributing it to factors like weight cuts. Bradley emphasized that both fighters had agreed to the terms and the deserving victor emerged on the fight night. Regarding the potential rematch at 154 pounds, Bradley expressed skepticism about any alteration in the outcome. He firmly asserted that Spence's foundational style and approach wouldn't significantly change with the shift in weight class. Bradley foresaw the rematch as an even greater challenge for Spence, as Crawford would now possess better familiarity with his opponent's strengths and power. Bradley advised Spence to reassess his well-being and future in boxing, especially considering the risks associated with facing a formidable opponent like Crawford once more. He proposed that Spence should take a hiatus, engage in a few fights to rediscover his form, and then contemplate continuing his career at the elite level. Bradley emphasized the significance of prioritizing family and well-being over enduring further punishment inside the ring. Simultaneously, Bradley praised Crawford's abilities and envisioned a prosperous future for him. Even if Crawford moves up to confront fighters like Jermell Charlo, Bradley anticipated skepticism from critics. Nonetheless, he staunchly believed that Crawford would be remembered as one of the greatest boxers in history, drawing parallels between his skill set and that of legendary figures like Marvin Hagler and Ray Robinson. Another figure echoing Bradley's skepticism about the rematch was unsurprisingly Brian Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's trainer. Bomac voiced uncertainties regarding whether the rematch would transpire at 154 pounds or remain at 147 pounds. This mirrors the ongoing deliberations and strategic evaluations being undertaken by both camps as they strategize for the anticipated rematch. Bomac displayed unwavering confidence in his forecast about the rematch's result, irrespective of the weight class. He firmly asserted that there would be no deviation in the outcome, reiterating his belief in Crawford's sustained dominance. Furthermore, Bomac hinted at the possibility of Crawford elevating his performance in the rematch, showcasing his confidence in Crawford's adaptability and potential for further excellence. Bomac issued a cautious message to Errol Spence Jr., insinuating that Spence should exercise caution before activating the rematch clause. His statement, "He might want to watch out before he activates the rematch clause," suggests Bomac sees significant risks for Spence in going head-to-head with Crawford once again. This blend of confidence in Crawford's abilities and strategic maneuvering could be interpreted as a tactic aimed at exerting pressure on Spence. With the multitude of advice for Spence regarding moving up in weight and contending against Crawford in the rematch at 154 pounds, pounds. What insights did Spence's coach, Derek James, offer concerning their last bout and the potential rematch? In a recent interview, James delved into Spence's physical condition and the strategy surrounding the potential rematch against Terence Crawford. He stressed that at 154 pounds, Spence wouldn't experience the same level of exhaustion or depletion, hinting at a more resilient and lively display in the rematch. James dismissed the notion that weight played a decisive role in their prior confrontation, giving due credit to Crawford for his strategy and performance. He acknowledged that Crawford was the superior fighter on that specific day, presenting a realistic and respectful assessment of their adversary. James's approach to the rematch is deeply rooted in realism and a concentrated focus on preparation instead of offering excuses. His preparations seem geared toward readying Spence to face Crawford anew, highlighting Spence's strengths and enhancements rather than dwelling on the shortcomings of their previous encounter. This perspective signifies a forward-looking strategy centered on how Spence can adapt and surmount the challenges posed by Crawford. James also imparted a broader outlook on boxing and life, emphasizing the importance of avoiding excuses and confronting challenges directly. He reflected on the essence of boxing, highlighting how even in defeat, a boxer can attain substantial financial and personal milestones. His philosophy appears to revolve around resilience and the capacity to rebound from setbacks, likely constituting a crucial aspect of his coaching methodology with Spence. Errol. Spence's preparations for the rematch against Crawford are well underway. With the latest updates emerging from both camps, it promises to be an enticing rematch whenever it materializes. However, we're eager to hear your perspectives and predictions regarding the rematch. Do you believe Spence can redeem his loss against Crawford in this rematch? Will fighting at 154 pounds significantly impact the outcome, or might it be Crawford once again emerging victorious? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.